This is the inside of the Bailey Unicorn Cabrera. If I firstly move to the control panel, just up here, I can turn the 12 volt on just by flicking this switch here. It will then indicate up here the voltage of the leisure battery. Beside that, we have the switch for the water pump. Whenever the water pump is running, the light will illuminate to let you know. We then have down here the main isolator for the lights inside the caravan. These can then all be individually turned on and off on their own switches. And then we have awning light on and off just here. If I now move across to this side, we then have the control panel for the Aldi heating and hot water system. So if I now press the button just here, I can turn the control panel on. On initial startup, it will give you an internal temperature of the caravan and will let you know if you have mains electricity connected. If I now press menu, we'll go to its basic functions menu. So at the top here we have the thermostat for the heating, so literally just plus and minus whatever temperature you would like it to be inside the caravan, and it will drop all the way down to 5 degrees for frost protection and go all the way up to 30 degrees. Underneath the thermostat for the heating, we then have hot water. So at the moment, hot water off, hot water on, and hot water in boost mode. Boost mode is very handy if there's going to be more than one of you having showers in quick succession of each other, or if you just want hot water very quickly. If you do perform the boost and the heating's running, it will turn the heating off as it needs to use the extra power. So even though now I've turned the heating on and turned the hot water on, the system hasn't actually fired up yet because we haven't given it a power source. So if we're connected to mains electricity, we can run on mains simply just by pressing the plus button here, and we can run on 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatts or 3 kilowatts. This is all just dependent on the ampage of the site you're on to try and avoid tripping. And if we're not connected to mains electricity, we can run on gas by just highlighting the flame in green. If you have both power sources available to you, you can run in dual fuel mode. This is very handy, especially in the winter months if you want to get up to temperature nice and quickly, and it will only consume gas as it is required. The ACC down here is for the workshop, so you cannot access that. And if I now just press the little cog here, we can then go into the settings menu. So within the settings menu, we have this little picture of a moon, and this is night mode. So we can turn night mode on and off just here. We can then set the temperature we would like it to be. And then when we would like night mode to start, and whether it's for all days of the week or just individual. And then when we would like night mode to end. We can, by highlighting this one in green just here, invert the backlight, so this screen goes to black and the writing goes to white. And we can also tell the boiler that we do not want any hot water made throughout this period. This is very handy, especially if you're wild camping, so you're not wasting gas heating hot water whilst you're asleep. Next we have a picture of a sun, and this is literally virtually the same again, but just for the daytime. Prioritise is what the system prioritises in using when in that dual fuel mode. So at the moment it favours main supply over gas. If you were on an extremely low amp site, you can make it so it favours gas over electric. This one is just literally the backlight brightness, etc. This one is not used on this particular model. And then this one here is just to set the correct time and day of the week. If I now arrow down, Again, most of these are not used on this particular model or can only be accessed by the workshop. This one here can be accessed and I'll show you in a moment. This one is called antimicrobial and you can only use this if you are using night mode as well. What will then happen in the middle of the night, the boiler will come on and rapidly heat itself up to kill off any bacteria that may be in the system. This one is literally thermostat offset, so if you don't think the internal thermostat is quite correct, you can just offset it. High altitude mode just here, so if you are using the caravan 1,000 meters or above sea level, just activate this to make the system run efficiently at that air pressure. Key beeps on and off. One just delayed start and stop to the system, so you could have it so it fires up on a Monday at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then the system turns itself off on a Saturday at 12 in the afternoon. Pump settings for the heating, just literally leave it set to thermal. You don't want the pump on all of the time. And then if I then arrow down, we have factory reset, so if there's a problem you can just reset the control panel. External start, you do have to have additional sim boxes etc added if you want to be able to control this via an app. Language, service, more for the workshop, but it will let you know what everything's up to, so you can see the temperatures of both the glycol for the heating and the water temperature. Installed accessories, so as I said, there's one in here that is handy, and this one is the load monitor just here. So if we now go back up, you'll see that we can access it, and if we arrive on site and we know how many amps the site is, we can then pick it on here. So let's say we're on a relatively low 10 amp site. That's now stored in, and now it doesn't matter if I put it onto 3 kilowatts, it will not pull 3 kilowatts, it will just literally control itself to avoid tripping. And as that's now an activated function, it will appear here, so I can then go back into it, alter it, or again turn it back off. And then to turn the unit back off again, just press where you press to turn it on. If I now come to the bench seat just here and remove the cushions, and I now just lift up, you'll see we have storage underneath here, and we also have the location of the Aldi boiler. To drain the Aldi boiler down for winterization or for travel, it's all just done on the yellow lever just down there. Firstly, make sure the water pump is turned off, and then just flick it up like so, and it will then begin to drain all the water out of the boiler underneath the caravan at that point. To refill the boiler, flap it back over, fill up the aqua roll, drop the submersible into it, turn on the 12 volt, and then turn on the water pump, and it will then begin to refill the boiler. You'll need to open the taps inside the caravan. They'll cough and splutter as they force the air out. Once they're running freely on both hot and cold, reclose, and then the system will fully reprime itself. Underneath the other bench seat you will find storage, and this can be got to from the outside. You'll also see in here that we have the wheel brace and the corner steady winding handle. We then also have the winding handle for the spare wheel, and then in the black bag the jack. In the overhead locker just here is the TV and radio aerial. So the digital amplifier for it is just here, on and off on the top, and then control the boost just here. You'll see that there's also a spare wire just here. This runs to the external satellite point on the outside of the caravan. So if you are using freestanding TV aerials, satellite dishes, or alternatively jacking into a site aerial or satellite feed, you will need to decide at which point you want the signal to go to. Just undo and then screw in. With the actual TV aerial itself, just undo just here, raise the mast and then get the aerial into the position you require and then lock it into place. The green window basically lets you know that that is the back of the aerial. So at the moment the front is pointing directly this way and the aerial is sitting in the horizontal position. What we can do is flip it on its side to the vertical just by turning the tail just here if additional tuning is required. Do make sure that you're back into the horizontal position and that the aerial is down again for travel. The radio is just located here, on and off just here where it also says SRC. Volume control on the plus and the minus just here, CD in here and eject just here. It also has USB connectivity and auxiliary. To get into the settings menu, just hold the button down with the little cog and then navigate on the plus and minus, and then anything you need to change, just literally hit the enter button just down here and then back off again just by holding in the SRC button. Microwave just here, so this will work when the caravan is connected to mains supply. This is an eco microwave, so you do need to press the eco button to, in a sense, wake it up. Do make sure that all contents are removed for travel. And then we have quick start just here and stop. Auto cook at the top here. Defrost settings, etc. just here. The microwave is just plugged in at this point here. And then directly beneath that is the hob. So the electric hot plate just here, and like the microwave, will work when the caravan is connected to main supply, and it operates just here, and the red light comes on to let you know it's in operation. We then have the 3 gas rings, and that is just push in, twist and press the igniter. Beneath that is the grill. Again, just push in, twist and press the igniter. And then the oven at the bottom. Storage underneath the oven. You'll also find a plug plugged in, which is for the electric hot plate. The gas isolation taps for the caravan are located just here. So at the top there we have the cooker, then we have the heating and hot water, barbecue point and the fridge. They're all in the on position, and quite frankly they can stay like that. I always say if you do smell gas in the caravan, go to the source and turn off the gas bottle. Just above the fridge is the solar panel regulator. You do not need to do anything with this, it will just smart charge the leisure battery as it's required. Dometic fridge just here. So at the moment it's in the off position. If I now flick it across to the little picture of the 2-pin plug, we're now running the fridge on mains electricity. Next, with a little picture of the battery, is 12 volt maintain, and this is what we have it on to keep the fridge cold whilst on the move. And then lastly, we have gas. If we're going to run the fridge on gas, we just need to come across to the temperature control. We then need to hold it in and push the igniter. And then what we want is for this line here to drift out of the white into the green to indicate it's lit. Once it's lit, just hold the button in for a few seconds just to allow it to rise, and then let go. And then as long as it stays in the green, you know it's all working as it should. If it drifts back off into the white, just repeat the process, because it can sometimes take a couple of goes, especially if you put a new gas bottle on and you need to purge the air out of the system. As soon as you turn it to anything else, it will automatically put itself back out again. We then have the freezer compartment at the top just here. This can be removed if required. Directly beneath the fridge is the consumer unit. So we have the trip switches here. So we've got the individual MCBs and they are labelled up. And then we have the main RCD and test button just here. So if anything's not working on main supply, just check to see if you've tripped at this point. And then directly beneath that are the 12 volt fuses. And again, if anything's not working on 12 volt, just check to see if you've blown a fuse. The location for the leisure battery is just under the carpet just here. And if we now move into the centre of the caravan, we have the shower cubicle just here. Do make sure that the shower screen is secured for travel. We then have the basin and the toilet. So the toilet bowl does swivel open to the cassette just on the grey lever here, and then push to flush on the blue button just here, and then close back up again. Level indicator for the cassette just here, so this will illuminate when it needs to be emptied. As we move to the rear of the caravan, in the wardrobe just here is the header tank for the Aldi heating system. So all you need to do is just make sure that the fluid level is between the minimum and the maximum. Always take your reading once the heating is up to temperature, as it will expand in the tank. If it does need topping up, you can do this yourself if you want to. Just literally unscrew the cap just here and then add the Aldi top-up solution. Do make sure that you are using the correct one. To use the bed, just flap this section up just here and then just drop the end on, and then you'll see that there are clips and then beneath the bed is storage. PIR sensor for the alarm just here. Underneath the other side of the bed is the freestanding table, and then just underneath the carpet just here is the wind point for the spare wheel.